And in terms of work, has there been any stress for you in terms of um what's been going on work wise, you know?
So I guess for me to answer that question, I'm gonna have to backtrack a little bit
Yeah.
and give you guys a little update on where I am right now compared to where I was last year.
Yeah, true. Go
Um,
ahead.
so last year I think I was kind of like riding a wave of like really good projects spilling over from 2018. I was kind of the fresh new photographer. I was like learning the ropes and kind of like getting my feet wet within the industry. And then as soon as the podcast went live, I think a couple of months after that, I had like a very slow period in my business where I wasn't getting as much work as I kind of hoped
Hmm.
for. I was a little bit on the lazier side. I wasn't promoting myself as much anymore, and I was just kind of like becoming more insular and working towards my um, with my delivery job because I work two jobs. I'm a
Hmm.
photographer, but I also do delivery for.
Right.
And so I felt like I was spending so much time doing like a lot of collab shoots and working with other people that I wasn't really making that much money. So I wanted to
Hmm.
focus more on my delivery job.
Right.
But in retrospect, doing so kind of stunted my photography business. I wasn't doing as well
Hmm.
as I was. And then so fast forward a couple more months, 2019 ended, 2020 began, and I was like, you know what, I'm really gung ho about, like really getting back into it and
Yeah.
getting a lot of work. So I started planning a lot of photo shoots in around like January, February, and I was working like a horse
Hmm.
for like those 2 months, which is amazing. Like I felt so like creative and I was getting a lot of work. I was like slowly getting back on the horse and like the wheels were, going, and then coronavirus hit, and then it all just went. I was like, I'm right back to where I was in like mid 2019 again, and I don't know. That's just kind of like where I am now.
Yeah, I remember seeing your post on Facebook when you were talking about like literally I don't think it was like a big post, but I just saw you just cancel all your photography gigs and just like,
Yeah,
it's I was just thought, "Oh, damn, this is getting real," you
it's
know.
getting real,
Yeah.
and I'm canceling like photo shoots.
And
I
then
never cancel photo shoots.
and there was a point in what was all going on that you kind of stopped even doing the food delivery stuff. Were you just kind of more worried about contracting anything, or was that you just needed to take a break for just your mental health, or?
Yeah, okay. So on the surface, I want to blame it on Animal Crossing because I took a 3-week hiatus from
Yeah.
literally everything, and I binged. Oh my god, I binged Animal Crossing so bad. I think. Let me go check my Switch real quick.
Okay.
I'm just gonna show you guys how deep into this shit that I got. Okay, can you see it right here? It says 485 hours logged,
Mm,
or does it? Is it showing? Let me see.
oh, I could kind of see it. It's in the blue, right?
Yeah, so right under Animal Crossing New Horizons, it logs how many hours I played on it. It's 485. Like I'm not even. I should be ashamed, but I'm really not.
Well,
But
to be
no, I on the surface, it was like
yeah.
I just wanted to have time to play Animal Crossing and really binge it and kind of just like live my gamer fantasy for a
Hmm.
while. I took 3 weeks off, but I feel like how it started was like towards the end of April. I had pretty much gotten all the money that I probably needed for the rest of the month to like cover my bills and food and like all that stuff. And has this weird glitch going on right now where every Friday it just dies. Like the app
Mm.
just completely crashes for a couple hours. No one can work. If you go on um downdetector.com, like there's literal like spikes that go up to like 20, 30,000 like reports of people who are having issues with DoorDash.
Hmm.
And so it was such a recurring thing that I started taking Fridays off. And then this one Friday, I was like, you know what? I'm just gonna chill at home, play Animal Crossing, and binge it. And then
Hmm.
Saturday rolled around, and Sunday. I didn't go back to work, and then Monday, and then it just kept going and going. And then the next Friday happened. I was like, you know what? It's already Friday, man. Like it's not. I'm not gonna work today anyway, so let's just take another Friday off. And then it just rolled over until 3 weeks later. I'm just like, you know what? Wow, I haven't gone to work in like 3 weeks, and then which is cool. Like I kind of needed that mental break
Mm-hmm.
because for the mad dash of like January and February, with all the COVID-19 things going on right now, just everything going crazy, the rampant racism, and anti-Asian like stuff that's going on
Yeah.
right now, especially in Los Angeles.
And the panic
Just a
buy.
lot of things have been going on right now, and I kind of felt a little worn out and burnt out from, like not just trying to survive a pandemic, but also having to deal with the front of like the racism as well. Which I mean, it's not like, oh my god, this is completely new to me. Like I've experienced anti-Asian racism like for a very long time,
Mm-hmm.
especially with my delivery work. So I'm kind of used to it by now, but it kind of just got a little out of hand recently. So a lot of it kind of just combined into like one messy like package that's like wrapped in like Animal Crossing wrapping paper.
Yeah.
And I just decided, you know what? I'm just gonna stay at home until I feel a little bit better, just isolate myself from the world. And at the same time, I have been working for like a month into the pandemic already,
Mm-hmm.
and I kind of wanted to see if I was asymptomatic or not. So the 3 weeks was like a good time for me to figure out if everything was okay, and Lord, it felt good. Not gonna lie, like just staying at home, waking up in the morning playing Animal Crossing, maybe going get Wingstop, and
Mm-hmm.
then coming home playing until like 4 a.m., going to sleep and doing that shit all over again the next day. Like, I don't know, it felt liberating.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I didn't really take care of my responsibilities that much. And it felt good, like, to kind of just like let it all fall apart for like a little while.
Mm-hmm.
So, I
I
mean,
think
that's kind of where it was with like the whole 3 week thing that I posted on Facebook.
yeah, I think that's good in the sense that it's taking care of what's inside versus
Yeah.
outside, because what what a lot of people are not getting, and I've talked to some people about it, is that you need to take care of not just your physical health but also your what's going on in your head.
Yeah.
And I don't know if anybody that's non-Asian can understand what we're feeling too. When it comes to kind of what you mentioned before, that anti-Asian hatred right now. You know what I mean?
I
Like,
mean, it's always existed. It's just I
yeah,
feel like because of the pandemic, it's gotten
it's heightened.
exacerbated. Yeah.
Yeah. And I actually do have a story, and it was weird. It was a funny that made me. It's a story that made me laugh, but at the time I was just like, what is this guy doing? But anyways, I'll go into that. But yeah, what I wanted to at least highlight for folks listening to this is that you need to really take care of yourself on the inside, because like whatever decisions you make, those knee-jerk decisions can have long-lasting consequences. and
Exactly.
and if you're always on a constant hum of stress, you can make really bad and poor decisions. So
Yeah.
it's really trying to keep yourself kind of level in that way.
And
And
I feel like a part of what contributed to that burnout too was like the pressure
mhm,
of like maintaining a state of productivity in quarantine, because I felt like like a lot of us are staying at home now. We're not like going out anymore. This is like a really good time for me to sharpen up on skills, which I mean I still believe is true. Like I could definitely be a little bit more productive in my time. But I feel like that pressure to like be productive in the midst of like a global pandemic, it's kind of like messed up, and like it kind of did contribute to that burnout, because like on one front I'm like dealing with like the fear, anxiety of um like is it gonna be me next? And then at the
mhm,
same time, like also feeling okay, well I still need, well even if I don't have COVID-19 or whatever, like I still need to be productive. I still need to work on my business. I still gotta do all these things, and I felt like damn, like after a couple of weeks of doing that and like trying to, it's not like I was like maintaining a front with myself mentally.
Mm-hmm.
Like if I wasn't, I kept telling myself, you know, if I just focus on my business, if I focus on work, if I focused on continuing my savings goals, working towards like my financial goals, um, I could at least drown out all the news that's going on around me and kind of be a little bit more insular with my experience. But the idea, like the thought is always in the back of my head, you know, like what's all this even worse in the end? Like, I mean, what if I end up getting COVID-19 and then by work so hard for like all these weeks or months or whatever, and it's all for naught because, you know, like I could just be dead tomorrow from it, you know?
Mm.
So it was like a very nihilistic. Is it nihilistic? I don't know. Like, what's the term? Fatalistic? I don't know. But it just felt like, um, in the end, it kind of caught up to me. And I was like, you know what? Is it even worth it for me to maintain this sense of like productivity when I could just relax and
Mm-hmm.
chill? Because maybe I'll end up getting it and I'll regret not taking the time to like do things I wanted to do, you know,
Right.
because now I can't.
I was listening to a podcast that kind of, it's kind of like a self help kind of podcast, but they were talking about um productivity and like this whole kind of shelter in place, this whole pandemic thing, and someone was saying like, oh, there's this social media post that someone said, it's like, oh, um if you don't take the time to do something for yourself right now, it's not that you didn't have the time, you're just unmotivated. And I thought that's just kind of a screwed up way of thinking, that like
Oh, I seen that post. I know which post you're talking about. It's like
yeah,
if you're not productive, you don't create something, you don't do something for yourself, you're not you're not strapped for time, you're just unmotivated and lazy. I'm just like, at first when I first saw that post, I was like very gung ho about like, okay, you know what? I'm going to be productive. And
hmm,
it's the pandemic kind of like went on and like it just kept going. I was like, you know what? Fuck that shit, man. Like why are we still pushing this very Western idea of like we have to be productive
hmm,
24/7 and our worth is like placed in our productivity?
yeah,
And and then like the more I read that post, the more I realized, wow, this person is so condescending. Like it, it was just annoyingly condescending. Like you don't realize it at first, but then the more you see it, the more you realize, yeah, you're kind of like you're really like pretentious and condescending. Like
yeah. It was just kind of the thing. It's just like, it depends on the person that would probably view it. Like if somebody is like super like goal oriented and stuff like that, they could probably see that as one thing.
yeah,
What I see it is that like I understand there's a lot of different types of people out there, and I feel for someone that needs time to kind of contextualize what's going on, like it's not fair to them because they need time to process all of this stuff that's happening right now.
yeah,
And
and it's like oh man, I think I got something stuck in my eye. Hold on. I'm
yeah, I
sorry.
noticed that. That's
Yeah, no, but I feel like when you like people don't also understand that like the people who have the opportunity to quarantine, it's kind of a
yeah.
privilege. It's a
Hmm.
real privilege for someone to have a job that allows them to work from home or allows them to kind of have the opportunity to quarantine themselves. And for me, like I'm kind of straddling both the privileged and the underprivileged side because at one point I do have enough savings to at least like take like a 3 week vacation. I didn't really spend that much money, to be honest with you. Like I didn't really dip into my savings that much. And I'm kind of
Hmm.
glad I didn't. But at the same time, like I'm still an essential worker, and I still got to go to work, you know. And people don't realize that there are people who still have to go to work, and like a lot of us aren't going to be able to be in quarantine. Like it's a very small percentage of very privileged people who are able
Yeah.
to stay in quarantine
Hmm.
and to maintain or to shame people for not being productive during that time period, especially if they're an essential worker. It's
Mhm.
just like, bro, like chill out, man. Like, why you gotta
Yeah.
be an asshole for her?
Yeah, I really find myself being very much more appreciative of like people working at grocery stores and like
Yeah.
doing these types of jobs. Social media right now, just let everybody know where they can find you.
Yeah. So my Instagram, you can find me at Sidereal with an underscore. I think link will be in description. I've always
Yeah.
wanted to say that. Link isn't